Transact with Netbank and stand a chance to win a 5,000. To qualify, do any of the following. Tap or swipe your Netbank card for purchases a minimum number of 10 times in 2 weeks. Or send cash to any local cell phone number a minimum number of 5 times in 2 weeks. Or withdraw cash using Netbank cashback at till at any OK Foods outlet a minimum number of 5 times in 2 weeks. It could be you, so start today. For more information, please visit netbank.co.nz, call or send us an email. See money differently. Netbank.
All right, so welcome back. Thank you for tuning in and thank you for staying with us. You're watching Nedbank Business Watch. Today we're joined by Nozibusiso Dembe, who's the treasury dealer at Nedbank Eswatini. We're focusing on Nedbank investment solutions today. We want to find out what investment options does Nedbank offer and how frequently do these investment products pay interest. Very good afternoon. Thank you for joining us this afternoon and welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Lou, and
right.
Good afternoon to your viewers.
Yeah, we're talking about Nedbank solutions. Why is it important for your client or the ordinary Liswati to have an investment with your bank?
So at Nedbank, our purpose is to use our financial expertise to do good. And we want to try and enable the everyday Liswati to have a healthy financial life. Right? As such, we're fostering a culture where we are taking our money seriously. So this conversation is a conversation about how to do that.
Yeah, because I want you to enlighten us when we talk about investment. What really are we talking about? I understand there's short investments, there's long-term investments. Kindly, enlighten us, Guguti, at Netbank, what you guys offer.
Okay, so when we talk about investments, we're talking about money that you're putting away outside of your transactional account in an account that earns you interest. So like you said, there's shorter term investments, there's longer term investments, and the longer term investments obviously give you better interest than the shorter term investments. In terms of our shorter term investments, we have accounts such as a savings account where you can put your money on the side to save. We have call accounts, which is quite similar to the savings account. And these two accounts offer a variable interest rate, which means when prime changes in Eswatini, the interest that you earn on these accounts also adjusts, whether it's upwards or downwards. And these accounts also offer your money on demand, which means that if you have an emergency, and you suddenly need to access your money, you can access it on the same day. So it's not locked away for a period of time. It's just in a different account.
Oh, it's convenient as well.
Quite convenient. We also have our notice deposit accounts. These are split into 32-day notice, 60-day notice, and 88-day notice. And with this one, the major difference is that if you do want to withdraw your funds for whatever emergency, you need to give notice before withdrawal. So let's just say you had a 32-day notice account and you gave notice today to withdraw either all or a portion of the funds. You can only receive, or you will only receive those funds in 32 days' time. So that's just the notice period, so that you're not dipping into those savings whenever you please. Yeah. So it's just to build a savings culture more than anything. This account also has a variable interest rate, so whenever there are changes in Eswatini Prime, the interest rate that's applicable on this account also adjusts either upwards or downwards.
Right. Before we get into the longer term investments, I just want to get clarity on the savings and the call accounts. You did say that they're accessible, so is it possible that I access them via my Netbank app? And if I want to transfer money from my main account to the call account, is that possible? How do I access and how do I manage my investment account?
Yes, so you have a view of these accounts on your Netbank app and you can do transfers when necessary.
All right, so let's move on to the longer term. I think that's the one you said it's more beneficial to have a longer term investment at Netbank.
Yes.
Kindly take us through the longer term investments.
So our longer term investments obviously will give you a higher interest rates than your shorter term investments. But the difference here is that your money is then locked away for a predetermined period of time. So at inception, when you decide you want to enter into some of these investments, you tell us how long you want to keep the funds for. So I'll start with our first longer term investment, which is your fixed deposits. The periods here are 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, or 24 months. So you select how long you want to lock the money away for. You take the lump sum and you put it in that account. The interest rate on a fixed deposit is fixed. So whatever interest we agree on at the beginning of the investment will remain that interest up until maturity of the investment. So if we agree on 5% per annum that you will earn on this investment, you will earn 5% up until the investment matures.
Okay. So what's the minimum amount that I need to open the investments account?
The minimum amount for these ones is 1,000.
Just only 1,000.
Just 1,000, and you can have a fixed deposit.
All right. So let's get into the negotiable certificate of deposits. It falls under the longer term investment. Kindly explain to us that as well.
So the negotiable certificate of deposit is actually quite an exciting product because it is a new product for Nedbank, but also it's a new product in the market. So Nedbank is the first bank to offer this product in the market. And just like the fixed deposit, it has fixed tenors as well. So you can choose 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, or 24 months. The major difference with this one is that if during the period or during the life of the investment, you then run into liquidity issues and you need the cash, you can on-sell that instrument to another willing buyer. So if you know someone who's willing to buy the instrument from you, you can sell it to them and just let the bank know that's what you've done so that we can change our bookings internally, because the holder of the instrument at the end is the one who has rights to the money. You can also come back to Netbank and sell it back to the bank. Say that I was holding this instrument 5 months into it, I need to sell it. How much would you buy it from me at? And the bank will give you a quote and you can sell it back. So that one's quite interesting because it adds vibrance to our secondary market in Eswatini, but it also allows our clients to have some kind of comfort that they can access their liquidity in need.
Okay, so let's talk about the floating rate term deposit. If Eswatini prime decreases, does it affect the principal amount?
Yes, so that's the major. Let me maybe first explain what the floating rate term deposit is. The major difference between that and the fixed deposit is that you fix the money for a fixed period, but the rate that we quote you is not a fixed rate. So it's a rate linked to Eswatini prime. If there are changes in Eswatini prime, whether upwards or downwards, your investment then starts to accrue interest at the new relevant rate. But in terms of the principal amount, and this is quite important for clients to understand for their comfort, when there are changes in Eswatini prime, the principal amount is not affected. So if you bought a 12-month floating rate term deposit, for example, and 5 months into the deposit, Eswatini prime changes. The deposit, let's say, changes downwards. The deposit will reprice downwards, the interest rate will reprice downwards, but for the remaining period, which is the remaining 7 months. So what you've accrued in the first 5 months when prime was higher is locked in. It only affects how much you are going to accrue going forward. So your principal amount is never touched.
It's never touched.
Yeah.
So how frequently or how often do these products pay interest? The savings, fixed deposit, and the floating rate term deposit?
So with our call accounts, our savings accounts, our notice deposit accounts, interest is paid monthly. With our fixed deposit, you have options. It can either, you can choose a fixed deposit that pays interest monthly, one that pays quarterly, semi-annually, annually, or at maturity. So you have options, and this is important because we all have different needs. For example, with our pensioners, normally they receive a lump sum of money and they want to live off the interest for a while. So they'll get the lump sum, invest it in a fixed deposit, paying interest monthly. That way they know the principal amount is not touched, and what they're enjoying and living off on a month-to-month basis is the monthly interest payments.
So it's up to me, like
so it's up
monthly,
to you.
quarterly, semi-annually?
Absolutely.
But of course you do advise as the bank.
Yes, we're always there to advise, but at the end of the day,
It's
the
up to
decision
me.
is up to you.
All right. So how does a client decide which investment option is best suited for them?
So there's a few things that a client needs to look at when thinking about investments. The first is you need to understand your own cash flow needs. So if you have received a lump sum from somewhere and you know you won't need this lump sum on a daily basis, then you can take that lump sum and put it in a more fixed instrument so that you can earn higher yields and also not be tempted to touch it. But maybe if you are trying to save up and you want to add and accumulate your money over time, then maybe your shorter term instruments such as a call account or a current account are better suited for you. So you need to understand what your own cash flow requirements will look like and not invest money for a period longer than you are able to.
And if I have a change of heart and probably want to switch banks, am I able to withdraw? Do I need to give you the bank time, a warning? I mean, what's the procedure? What's the process?
So the hope is that you won't be switching banks. But in the event that you are, our fixed instruments, in as much as it's a contractual agreement between you and the bank that you will place the money for a certain period of time, if a need does arise and you need to withdraw it, it is possible to withdraw it. There's just a early redemption penalty, which is 2.5% of the interest that you have earned during the period.
All right. Just so it happens, I had a bad month and let's say I'm unable to deposit money on either of my investments account. Perhaps it extends to 3 months, for an example. What happens then?
So the investment accounts are your accounts. So the ones where you can top up, even if you don't top up for extended periods of time, the money you have is still yours and the account is still yours. So nothing, there will be no closure of accounts for that if you're not topping up.
Okay.
And then the fixed ones are obviously fixed, so you don't get to top up on those.
Okay. So what does a client do if they want to open this account? Can they call, do it over the phone, online, or they have to come to your premises?
So if a client wants to open this kind of account, they would go to their nearest branch and speak to a banker. The banker would then contact Treasury and find out from Treasury what rate we're willing to quote on that amount for that period of time, provided they've decided what kind of instrument they want to invest in. And then after that, the banker will then take them through the process of completing the forms for them to open their account. But if you are just curious about the investment, you can also still contact your nearest branch, or you can call Treasury on 3278-1145, and we'll be happy to assist.
Right. And of course, if they have any other more information to inquire on, they can contact Nedbank Eswatini on your social media platforms. Remind us.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yes. You can contact us on all our social media platforms. And we'll always be willing to assist.
All right, thank you so much, Ms. Tembe. Thank you for joining us. That's it for our Netbank segment. If you do want more information, do contact them on their socials and also call them on their service center line. We're talking about investment, savings, a call account. So find out more from Netbank Eswatini. Let's go for an ad break. Sabiya Koramanje.